If you've seen any of my stenciling videos lately, you know that I love to use the Waffle Flower Grip Mats to hold my cardstock and stencils in place. Of course, they have lots of other uses as well. Waffle Flower is retiring some of the sizes of the grip mats, but they're also coming out with some new sizes as well. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel, and in today's video, I'll be sharing the new grip mats, how well they work with a bunch of different applications, and I'll also show you some other items in Waffle Flower's June release. So let's dive right into the new grip mats first. As I mentioned, Waffle Flower is re-releasing their grip mats. So there is one size, the 8.5 by 8.5, that is being discontinued. This is one of the new sizes that wasn't available before. This is a 4x4 grip mat. So you can see it is still the same thick photopolymer that really lets you stick your cardstock down and your stencils down and keep everything in place. This is the new 7.5 by 11. This is going to be the larger grip mat from here on in. What I like about this is that it's a little bit longer, so you get a little bit more space, especially for those 9-inch stencils, and you can use it horizontally or vertically. So let's take the 4x4 grip mat and attach the grid to the back. So just peel off the clear plastic protector and you'll notice that the grids are now smaller than the grip mats. So place it on one side of the grip mat with enough border on each of the sides so that it will stay stuck down on your work surface. Now remember, this is not adhesive, it's just a high quality photopolymer, so it's not ruining your work surface. And then you can take that top off and work on that grip mat. Here's the larger grip mat, the 7.5 by 11. Just carefully peel off that clear plastic protector and then straighten out the grid right onto the back of the grip mat so that you can see the grid from the front, but you'll still be able to keep that grip mat in place. And then I'll peel off that top protective plastic. Keep those so that you can keep protecting the grip mats from dust, or in my house, dog hair. And then you'll place it down on your work surface. I like working on a glass mat with these grip mats. They work really, really well together. Here you can see that grid allows you to place down the cardstock and see exactly where an A2 would go. Now let me share some of the new release, which includes some stencils that are perfect to use in combination with the new grip mats. First up, we have the Random Rhombus stencil. This is a fun stencil. I really like it. So I have the largest grip mat down on my glass work surface, and then I've placed my piece of white cardstock on top of the grip mat, and then my stencil on top of that. And notice how you have a little bit of extra space on the sides there, and that is a great place to put your ink pad, and it won't slide around either. So as I am stenciling here, nothing is moving. My cardstock isn't sliding, my stencil isn't sliding, and my ink pad is staying exactly where I placed it. You can see I'm not having to hold anything down. So if you see me holding anything, it is just a habit. Then take one corner and peel off that stencil, one corner and peel back that stenciled project that you created. Now let's take a look at the 6x6. This is the same size that already existed before, so if you already have a 6x6 grip mat, you don't need another. This is the Layered Flower Duo Die and Stencil. You can see that they are a layering stencil. For the leaves, they are just one layer, but the flowers I'll show you how they layer up different colors or shades together. I love how Nina from Waffle Flower showed to place part of the stencil off the corner, because if you do that, it makes it much easier to peel off the stencil than if you have it flush to the 6x6 grip mat. So that's what I'm doing all the time now. I have the two leaves with just some Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide ink. I think Distress Oxide ink works really well with the grip mats. All you have to do is spritz it with water and wipe it clean, and you are good to go for your next project. So here are the layerable flowers. I'm starting with some spun sugar, and I'm starting from the darkest point, which is the tips of the petals, and then the center of the flower. And then I'll fill in the entire center of the petals to make a really nice gradient of color there. I love how that turns out. And then I have the second layer here with a slightly darker pink. This is with Kitsch Flamingo. You can see I'm using the Waffle Flower detail blending brushes. They are my absolute favorite. They work so well, and they allow you to just get the ink exactly where you want it. So that is the great thing about these blending brushes. You can use just a small amount of ink, a small amount of color, and place it exactly where you want it. Here is the second flower. Do you notice the little white outline? It is like if you stamped and colored in and then die cut, there would be that little white outline on the outside. I think that is really pretty. It looks so nice on these flowers and leaves. You can also just ink blend on die cuts without a stencil. And here I'm doing that on the 4x4 grip mat with the inside-outside scalloped elongated ovals die cuts, which gives you lots of options. So here's the rhombus stencil, again, that random rhombus stencil. I'll place it on top of the 6x6 grip mat. And you can see that this time I'm not using the grid at the bottom. It's totally up to you. If you don't need the grid, you don't have to use it. If you feel like the mat is too sticky, definitely think about using it. This is the daisy background stencil. Such a pretty background. I love how these flowers are all together on this background, and it's so easy to color them in. You could use multiple colors here. I decided to use just the yellow that was left on this brush. This is also a waffle flower brush, but it's my larger waffle flower brushes, and I love those as well. Now let's take those items and make some cards. Since we just created this daisy background, I thought we would use this panel first. So I am going to cut it down to 4x5 1/4. I am using that new Spellbinders trimmer. I shared it in a recent video. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet. So once it's all trimmed down, I will mat it on some white cardstock. Now I have the oversized Get Well print die. I cut just the print die. It also comes with a shadow die, but I cut just the print out of white cardstock and white fun foam so that I could layer those together and there would be nice dimension there. You can see that I have a gold frame on the background. That's from the inside-outside scalloped elongated ovals. I've cut it out of gold mirror cardstock. And now I'm adhering down the flowers and the leaves. I've placed liquid adhesive just in the center of the flowers so I have room around that center to tuck the leaves behind the flowers. I don't want dimension here because I want the Get Well sentiment to really stand out from all of this pretty background. So tuck those underneath and then place some liquid adhesive behind the Get Well that we've popped up on foam. And then I'll place that just slightly on top of some of these flowers in the corner. I love the way that looks. And then some candy dots, which are the more transparent or translucent enamel dots from Waffle Flower for the centers of those flowers. I love how these all come together so easily. Next up, we have the oversized postage combo. So you get a rectangle and then you get a postage edge. So it's easy to create this oversized looking stamp. I'll use the grip mat to hold the postage edge and the stamp edge in place so that I can just add a little hint of ink to the outside edge there. So just a little bit, not anything too dark or too bright. It'll just add a little bit of a drop shadow there, which is really nice and creates a little bit more dimension than you're already going to have with your foam adhesive and things like that. Next, I'll take some tape runner and I'll adhere. This plaid is from a Waffle Flower pattern paper pad. It is one of my absolute favorites. I'll link to it down below in the supply list. And when you're shopping, don't forget to use my coupon code, which is Rebecca. I will put it in the description box as well. But if you use my code, you get one time only to use it, and it is 10% off your entire order. So I'll be sure to put that down below in the description box. So I have the Get Well that I've die cut out of some different pattern paper, and then I have the shadow cut in white cardstock. This is an extra wide foam roll from Picket Fence Studio. I cut a piece so that I could pop up the entire postage stamp on the back of some some white cardstock there. These are the Subsentiments Care die cuts, and I thought it would be nice to have, because everything's so light on the card, just a little bit of the black and white to really add a punch to this. So I've popped up the sending, and now I'll pop up the wishes right in between the get and well. Such a fun card to create, so easy to create, and I think it would send somebody a smile. So again, we have those inside outside elongated ovals, the scallops. This cuts an outside scallop, then this little frame, then an inside scallop, and then you get another die that cuts a small oval scallop. So there's tons, even though there's just 2 dies in the set, you get tons of shapes from it. Here I decided to add a little bit of dimension to that outside scallop and the inside scallop, so I've cut out another white cardstock of that shape and just added them on top. Next, I went back to the 6x6 grip mat and the Duo flower, layering flower stencil and die so that I could create some pink and orange flowers and a couple of leaves that would go nicely on that background, which is also pink and orange of the random rhombus. If you get the postage stamp combo, you get both of those dies plus a stamp set. Just wanted to mention that I have my original grip mats for the mini Misty and original size Misty inside the Misty. They replace that black foam piece and they help everything stay in place without using magnets. The magnets really kind of make me a little nutty, so I like using these grip mats. Everything stays in place and you don't have to worry about magnets sliding around or getting in the way of your stamps. So these are the stamps from the stamp set of that oversized postage. So they are so cute because you have little prices, you have first class, you have a birthday cake, a heart, lots of different elements, and many of them have dies to cut them out as well. I decided to grab the 4x4 grip mat and add a little bit of ink to each of these die cuts just to jazz them up a little bit. So nothing too heavy because I really want that black ink to stand out. Then I'll stamp this little postage mark on the actual stamp itself, which is made by cutting out that random rhombus stencil that we created. This is an inside birthday stamp set from Waffle Flower. I'm actually going to use one of these sentiments instead of inside the card, outside the card. So I just wanted something small that would fit right in this spot on the bottom of the stamp, and I thought this was perfect. It says, "I hope you have an amazing day. You deserve all the good things." And then I just get to play and create a collage of all these little postage marks and little images and die cuts, which is so much fun to do. Again, I have that large roll of foam tape, so I will cut a piece and pop this up on a Cosmic Sky cardstock background. That's from Spellbinders cardstock. For this card, I have another one of those inside-outside scallops, the ovals. So I've cut out of gold mirror cardstock. This time I have the little thin border that was just cut out of white cardstock. I actually ink blended over it so it matched the green on the pattern paper. And then the inside scallop I have in white cardstock. So you can see how many different options you get there and pieces that you get to put together. I also had that flower that I didn't use before that I've already colored. So I popped that up in the center. And then I have one of the die cuts from the Take Care Sentiments, Subsentiments. It just says thinking of you. So I thought that was perfect for this card. And then I'll add a few candy dots. Again, these are so pretty. They have light colors. They kind of have a little, almost like it sparkles just because it's translucent. And they add the perfect touch or embellishment to a card like this. Like I said at the top, I am in love with Waffle Flower grip mats. I love how well they hold cardstock in place and can also hold stencils in place. They're great for coloring die cuts and so much more. But I'd love to hear what you think. Do you already have a Waffle Flower grip mat? Is there a new size that you're looking at? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. Applications. That's it.